Hi everyone, this is Lady T with Lady T Speaks TV, where I talk about all facets of relationships. So I'm continuing the conversation about the primary causes for divorce in Christian marriages in particular, but overall it could be in any marriage. But I'm talking to the body of Christ, and I'm talking about issues that are in difficult marriages and how we can resolve them applying God's word and what God's design is for marriage. Remember, I said to you that marriage was designed to glorify God. So I want to always emphasize that marriage is to glorify God, is to honor Him. And a lot of what I'm discussing and talking about in these different these problems or the issues are things that you can think about. And if you find yourself having that issue in your marriage, you can begin to be proactive to get rid of all of that and have God's assistance to do so. So I wanted to give you the scriptures. I talked about pornography and how adultery is in your heart. And I wanted to give you some more scriptures to reference it so you can look it up. Because when you get the word of God and you have these kinds of issues or situations, it's good to meditate on those scriptures that God promised to help you get through difficulty. And then it's also good to reference those scriptures that talk about not doing these kinds of things, not being in that kind of sin. Now, we're always in a war, a spiritual war. That's a battle that is a consistent battle. Although we win, ultimately, we have already won. So we come from things from a perspective of already being a winner, already being an overcomer. We still have to make sure that if we have these kinds of issues, that we measure them to the Word of God and we apply God's Word. Meditate on the scripture that you need so that you can overcome. And so that's why I'm going through the scriptures. I'm adding them as well as talking about the topics. I want to be very clear and very precise so that you can get insight to your situation and you can resolve issues once and for all. But being proactive is better than to be at the divorce court and having a divorce when you could have resolved a lot of things if you have taken them to God and in prayer and, of course, applying the Word of God. So when I talked about pornography, I talked about Job 31:1. So the scripture says this: I made a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully at a young woman. So this talks about when you're looking at pornography, you want to make sure that you make that covenant, which is an agreement with your eyes, because there's a scripture I'm going to read to you, and it talks about lust. It talks about the lust of the flesh. And so let me read this one first. Let's go to First Corinthians, the 10th chapter, the 13th verse. There is no temptation has overtaken you except what is common to man, and God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. So God never tempts man. Lust tempts man. Lust is what tempts man. And let's go there. First John, the second chapter, the 16th verse says this: For everything in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life come from not from the Father, but from the world. And we know that Satan is the God of this world, and world meaning anything outside of Christ. It doesn't mean everything that exists, because we know that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof and all that dwell within. However, there's two systems working in the earth. There's a system of the kingdom of God, and that there's a system that the world operates in. We call it secular. So you want to make sure that you understand lust does not come from God. Lust is something that you partake in that causes you to go into sin. So I wanted to be clear about that. I also wanted to give you another scripture. Philippians, the fourth chapter, the 8th verse says this: Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. So you should be thinking about these things, things that are good, things that are noble, things that are pure, things that are lovable, things that are admirable, things that are excellent, things that are praiseworthy. That's where you should be focused, because I said to you, whatever you get your attention and you give your affections and your attention to is going to dominate your life. If you are applying the word of God, if you are reading, you are studying, you are worshiping God, if you are before Him and you stay in the Spirit, then you can conquer many, many different issues that arise. Now, in your marriage, again, those are things that you have to make sure that the word of God is being applied to them so that you won't get into areas where you have difficulty. And pornography can be a deal breaker for many people, like I spoke of in the previous video. So I wanted to give that information to you, give you those scriptures. We're going to move on. Again, you have to examine yourself. You have to apply the word to yourself. It is your responsibility as a believer to walk out your faith, to be in faith, to increase your faith, to increase your knowledge of Him so that you can overcome any obstacles you have. And pornography can become a stronghold, and you don't want that to happen. So it's so very important for you to get a handle on it, to dispel it. So make a covenant with your eyes so that you don't get involved in that, and you can stop it before it manifests to a point where it's devastating to your marriage and it causes your marriage to end. And I've talked about that in depth. So examine yourself, read and study. I'll come back and we're going to talk about communication, lack thereof, over communication, or none whatsoever. And we'll talk about that in marriage and how that is one of the things that can be a primary cause for you to leave your marriage, to end it. All right, this is Lady T with Lady T Speaks TV, where I talk about all facets of relationships. Be empowered to succeed. Know that people are praying for you, praying for your marriages, especially at this time of the pandemic. I know things are getting really tight for some, being in close quarters, but remember to remain faithful to the things of God, stay loving and stay kind. All right, everyone. Talk to you all soon.